This video may be unsuitable for some audiences. If you experience any form of epileptic seizures, then do not watch this video. Also, usernames and Minecraft skins are subject to change. Recently, some of my friends and I started an SMP server, and it did not turn out how we expected. I'm going to be telling you the first part of the story of the Cube SMP. And quickly before I start, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe. I wasn't recording during all of this, so this is all a reenaction using replay mod, citizens, NPC mod, and people helping me body act. So please subscribe, and if anyone's link is in the description, definitely go show them some love. They deserve it. Now, let's get into it. Chapter 1. The Rise of Simp Nation. The first nation to be created was Simp Nation, with Simp standing for Super Intense Minecraft Players. The original founders were CubeCord, Mystery Guest, and Jevs, who has the username ZombieCaptain22 for reasons, and began to build up walls to signify their borders. Many people began to join Simp Nation, and they brought with them things like a creation of a public mine and a Fortune 2 pickaxe. Trolliant was exploring the Nether and found a bastion. In that bastion, he found a chest, and in the chest, there was a Fortune 2 pickaxe. This caused Simp Nation to become very rich very quickly. Also, I'm off on my own in a nation called NB. It's just a planned word for NB, non-binary, because I'm non-binary. Next, a mysterious being by the name of Glorybound made someone just disappear, and we all started speculating on how he could do this. Was he a god? A wizard? The only thing we knew was that he had power that we didn't. Chapter 2. The First War. Conflict. There is a faction that I neglected to mention. Dino Gang. The people important to the lore in Dino Gang are IllEvo and YouTube Kid. IllEvo started mining a bunch of dirt right outside of Simp Nation for a project, and also to fix a problem in Simp Nation walls. But a lot of people in Simp Nation consider this to be griefing, so they went to the Dino Gang base and started digging dirt outside of that. Once the griefing is over, we all headed to the International Peace Accords, built by yours truly, for the peace talks. Among the things discussed, there was Dino Gang can make a trade canal to Simp Nation, members of Simp Nation cannot go in Dino Gang's base without asking, and vice versa, and I will be established as the official mediator of conflicts. Chapter 3. The Exile Order. During the peace talks, Cube decided to exile Trolling because he was peer pressured into it. Evo also decided to exile YouTube Kid for... You know what, actually, why did he exile him? Hey, what? Who are you? I'm you, but a better narrator. I'm gonna narrate this now. Okay, see you later then. Hate that guy. Then after the meeting, YouTube Kid and Trolliant were escorted to their exile. Chapter 4. Releasing the Darkness. It's been a while since the griefing conflict and exile order. XP and I had been helping Simp Nation with adding more farms like sheep, cow, and villager farms. And XP wanted to leave Simp Nation for NB, but Simp Nation said that if XP left, she couldn't use the things we helped create. And during all of the arguing that ensued, I could feel something was off, so I went to NB and wrote my thoughts down in a book. I created it to get away, to be alone, potentially with one or two more people. I created it to at last find solitude, away from the large crowds filled with so many different opinions. And yet, it is the reason that I can't escape. It has shown up at my doorstep. I wait. And they close in on me and argue, then they still have not reached a consensus. I hope peace is still an option. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. 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 Wait, no. It wouldn't happen again. No. There's more to my red eye than you think. It's more than just symbolizing the fire element and elemental. That eye was the only thing left of something known as the greater evil, and it had just been released into the world, and wanted revenge on me. I had stopped before, and now it wanted to destroy the world. After some recovering, I heard a commotion outside, and everyone is outside of the Simp Nation walls, and there he was. Glorybound. and it was clear that the greater evil had possessed him. He started attacking everybody, summoning lightning, building with unbreakable blocks, and not taking any visible damage. After a long time of fighting, Glorybound dropped us his power in the form of a firework, and he told us to light it off. And when we did, he teleported out of nowhere and came and possessed me. Hello and welcome to 2072, and also part 2 of the Cube SMP. And just a quick disclaimer, in this episode is going to be significantly less witchcraft and more conflicts between people, and without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off, a group of people were dissatisfied with Simp Nations, now Puffer Nations, increased regulations inside the walls, about who could and could not use the farms and villages. Yep, this thing again. These rebels gathered everyone together and announced that they were declaring themselves as their own independent state, known as Quack Society. Originally, Puffer Nation didn't really care, because they saw most of the people in their nation as somewhat of a nuisance, so they let them go, and they kicked out the remaining people that they actually didn't even want there. One of the people that got kicked out of Puffer Nation was Trollian, and when he got kicked out, he killed Puffer Nation's prized 14 emeralds for 1 mending book villager. This caused Puffer Nation, which is literally basically just Cube and Mr. Egas now, to become enraged. They declared war on Quack Society and both teams began preparing for battle. The first move was made by Quack Society. They went atop the walls of Puffer Nation and started taunting Cube and Mr. Egas, saying, "Oh yeah, you can kill us, but we know you won't," and stuff like that. But they had severely underestimated the duo. They started unleashing firework rockets on the members of Quack Society, and when Quack Society retreated, Puffer Nation was in a hot pursuit, determined to drive them away from the base. And then, as they started to battle, a player named Landito Burrito, who reappeared after Glorybound was defeated, killed the rest of Puffer Nation's villagers. Puffer Nation then threatened Quack Society with all-out destruction, unless Landito was exiled from Quack Society. But then, Quackmister, the leader of Quack Society, had actually joined the server. He had no idea that this war was happening at all, and up until now, Evo had been calling the shots, and Quackmister was not happy with him. After a long talk with Cube and Mr. E, Quack made the executive decision to kick out Evo and Landito from Quack Society for taking things a little too extreme. Both teams retreated to secret bases that had been unknown to anyone else who was not in their nation. Actually, that's not that true. Trollian was actually a spy for Puffer Nation the whole time, meaning he knew where Quack Society's base was. And he didn't actually kill the mending villager. It was just a ploy to get him into Quack Society and gain their trust. And he's going to be feeding information to Puffer Nation from now on. And Puffer Nation also revealed that they wanted power over the entire server and for Puffer Nation to be the only country. They offered for NB to join Puffer Nation, and if we did, they wouldn't attack us and we could remain neutral and technically independent. And we agreed, but we didn't actually aid them in battle, and they kind of forgot about that part anyways, so it was only a victory for us, and we were the only ones who got anything out of it. Puffer Nation began working on a festival, which in reality was an announcement that they were going to declare war on everybody, but the information got leaked by someone, so a new group called the Revolution announced that they were going to declare war if Puffer Nation didn't do it soon. So the Puffer Nation members called a meeting where they actually did declare war with the help of a few independent warlords that they recruited. The warriors only agreed to join if one of them, Serenade, became the new leader, and it was agreed. Puffer Nation then retreated near one of the Resistance's secondary bases, and Resistance set up temporary camp at the old Puffer Nation base. The new Puffer Nation base was swiftly griefed by Sawmell, who created a giant obsidian troll face, which Puffer Nation tore down just as swiftly. And then Cube and Mr. left, quote-unquote, Puffer Nation, because they realized they made a mistake with all of the extreme things that the warriors had been talking about. So they did. And with no one with any substantial gear, the extreme plans could never come into fruition, so nothing came from all of that. And you may be wondering, what was the point of this? Why does this episode exist? Well, this episode was entirely just raising the tension. Tempers were running high. Everyone was on full alert, with all sides preparing for the final battle. Hello and welcome to part 3 and the finale of the Cube SMP videos. Starting off, Cube and Mr. created another team, what a surprise, with a new player called Vems that I'm going to be calling Team Chaos because they didn't have an official name for it. And they started recruiting people to their team and making plans to have a massive battle once the end dimension was open. And now I'm going to be giving some important context for this video that you really need to know. And that is, Team Chaos started creating a lot of tension, stealing people's items, randomly killing them, and turning the server into base anarchy. And the Revolution, also known as literally everyone else on the server, their secret base that I mentioned in the last episode, was very near the stronghold, and they had a massive tunnel going from their base to it. Now, back to the story. Once the announcement was sent out that the end dimension was going to be enabled in roughly 30 minutes, both teams made their way to the stronghold. And when Team Chaos arrived at the stronghold, they found a 2x2 hole in the ground, and when they went to explore it, it led to the Revolution's base. And on the way there, J-Blaze spotted them and warned the rest of the Revolution members that Team Chaos was coming to fight them, and so the Revolution met them halfway. And then another battle ensued, the tunnel was blown up, and it was agreed that the battle would be on pause until the end opened. And once it was, all of the tension that had been growing in the past finally boiled over. And the battle that ensued was the bloodiest the server had ever seen and ever would see in its history, because the server ended after this. Everyone entered the end, and at the start, Team Chaos started blowing things up, shooting fireworks, game-ending people, summoning withers, and placing end crystals to keep the dragon alive, so that there would be no way anyone from the Resistance could get the dragon egg. Once the dragon died, Outwasted got the egg, and many people urged him to burn it, because it would just cause more conflict over it, and everyone would want it, but he refused, and the conflict raged on. Later during the battle, Team Chaos respawned the Ender Dragon 2 more times in order to keep the battle raging on for as long as possible. Team Chaos finally decided to leave the end. The fight was over. The end was destroyed, everybody had logged out, and they had won. And also, somehow, during the battle, Sommel had managed to get the egg from Outwasted. And after a lot of peer pressure, the egg was finally thrown into the void, along with a god apple, netherite ingot, my head, pufferfish in a bucket, some diamond gear, print, and Jev. And yeah, that's it. That is the Cube SMP videos. There will be no more created. Probably. Maybe I'll do a season 2 in like 5 years if we ever decide to do another SMP that I deem worthy of videos. And yeah, again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for the support. And also, keep your eyes out. I'm going to be releasing a movie version of this soon. It's just going to be all 3 of them edited together, but there's not going to be many awkward transitions. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Join my Discord, and I'll see you later.